Good to go.
Okay, we're ready to go. Well, welcome to Huddle, everybody. I hope you're doing well and you've had a fantastic summer. Here we go. Into school is back and fall is around the corner and football's around the corner. And the market's doing pretty good in most of our areas. And a lot of you are really having your best years. And it's really just a great market right now. It's always a great market, though, isn't it? There's always an opportunity. So Mike and I have been really excited about this topic. And Joe, for those who are, logged on a little bit early, you heard some of our banter about the use of AI. We're going to try to focus on using AI in our buyer presentations today. And so we've got to get everyone up to speed on this. Is it okay if I just poll all of you right now? Let me see. We got 31 of us. If we could get 100% response, it'd be great. Or Joe, I'm not going to ask you to build a poll. Do you want to build a poll or should I just have them use chat? Use chat. Okay. Put in the chat if you have used Chat GPT or AI to help in any way in your real estate business. Just a yes, you have, or no, you haven't. I want to see what kind of percentage we've got so far. So have you used AI or Chat GPT to help in your real estate business? Looks like the vast majority have already used some of it. How many of you already have, okay, if you do not have a Chat GPT or an AI account, would you put that, say, I do not have an account in the chat? I do not have an account. I just want to see how many of us and then in the chat. So Felicia, we have in the chat, Mike gave you a link that says openai.com. Everyone see that? I tell you what I'm going to do for those. Let's see. I'm going to move my screen. Sorry. Hold on, guys. Okay. So everyone went to openai.com and you can create an account there. I'm assuming everyone has done that now. Tony, can you go ahead and do that? And Felicia and Sherry and Susie and Tony, Linda, do you want to go ahead and do that really quick? Shouldn't take, how long it take you, Brett? I got Brett and Lisa, is it right? Yeah. Brain cramp for 2 seconds. Okay, so Brett and Lisa are in my office. And so we took 2 minutes to do it, right? Yeah. Okay. And one of our objectives here today is that we kind of get used to this. And I'll tell you where we're going to go with it. We're going to remember the day that you started using AI and it really blew your mind. So while you're getting your account set up, let me take you through. I'm going to now show you, I'm going to have to go back and share my screen, Joe, which I think start sharing your screen will stop others. Continue. And I want to show this one. And Mike, I'm going to shrink you down. So what you should be seeing right now is this question where it says, build me a 5-minute discussion. Everybody good?
You're not showing that yet,
Oh,
Will.
I'm not sharing that screen. Okay. Hold on. Stop. Boom. There. How about now?
Yep.
Okay. So I am on, so this is just the evolution of all this, guys. Last week, with the help of Mike Fondario, we downloaded all of the MLS rules, the NAR settlement rules, our coaching manual, our policy manual, our forms manual. That means everything that the UAR has and everything we have internally. What am I missing, Mike? What else did you put in there?
Code of ethics,
Right.
Utah real estate law,
Oh yeah, all the state laws
buyer presentation, listing
are in it.
presentation.
Yeah, buyer presentation, listing presentation. So all of our stuff is in here. And we rolled this out to the brokers. The idea is we're going to roll something similar out to the agents soon with all of this library already in it. Okay. So that's kind of what the future is. So why not just go ahead and get started on using AI right now, get comfortable with it? Because there are some very specific skill sets to using AI effectively. So let me show you what I did here. Mike has spent a lot of time working on this. I had used it very sparingly over the last 6 months until probably 2 weeks ago, where Mike helped light a new vigor and new fire under me about the use of this. because we were trying to build really good content quickly, and it takes a lot of time to do that. So see what I've said here? Build me a 5-minute discussion on the importance of real estate agents using technology and make a comparison to literacy and the historical parallelism to the importance of reading and writing and the use of technology. See how specific that question is? Okay, so in 30 seconds, it's clicked me out this. Imagine living in the 1500s when only a small percentage of people could read and write. Literacy wasn't just a skill, it was a power. Those who could read contracts, scriptures, government decrees had access to knowledge, opportunities, and influence that others didn't. Fast forward to today, and we're in the same place, but instead of reading and writing, it's technology. How long do you think it would have taken me to fine-tune that opening statement? So then we go, and so the human brain goes, I see a parallelism. Build me a case. Here's the historical parallelism. In the past, literacy determined whether you could participate in society, trades, or politics. Today, technology literacy, knowing how to use CRMs, MLS tools, AI, social media, transactional platforms, is the new version of that skill. How true is that, right? Just as being illiterate once limited people's opportunities, being tech illiterate now limits agents' abilities to compete. So how does that, what does that mean? We lose efficiencies and accuracy. Technology automates scheduling, paperwork, marketing, freeing agents to focus on relationships. How important is that? Client expectations. Buyers and sellers assume that we use digital signatures without virtual tours, marketing analysis. This is where, hey, by the way, Mike, we were talking about it's not perfect. This right here needs some massaging in my view. So, hey, AI, you might be a genius in some levels, but I'm here to tell you, you're not perfect on this one. Because when I say client expectations, I think about data analytics, and we want to dive into some of that. How often have you guys heard me say that it's context over content? Anyone can go get data, but only you can make sense of it. That's wisdom. So knowledge is nice, wisdom is power. And AI can help us make sense of data quickly. Like do the analytics of it quickly. And that can guide you. And now you look like a genius when it comes to data because you're making sense of it, right? Okay, so that's kind of where I would massage this answer that AI gave me. Next, competitive edge. Agents who master the tools like AI-driven social media, those who rely on traditional methods, they'll outperform them. Do you agree with that? So I've had a saying for a long time that technology will not replace agents, but technology savvy agents will replace other agents. And it's already shown to be true because if you kind of said, I don't have the time or patience for this, you slowly start to remove yourself from the field, right? And a lot of that bears out in confidence. So closing thought. Literacy once separated leaders from followers. Today, it's technology. You don't need to be perfect at it. You just need to embrace it. In 10 years, the difference between top producers and anyone else who won't be effort or charm, it will be treated technology as essential. The same way our ancestors treated reading and writing. Wow, tied it right back into literacy. I was blown away. Then it asked me, do you want interactive questions? I said, I sure do. And so it gave me polls. On a scale of 1 to 10, so everyone in chat right now, and you guys tell me on a scale of 1 to 10. So 10 being you're very tech literate. So you're very, very good. On a scale of 1 to 10, please put in the chat how you feel you are generally with the use of technology. So Brett's here, Lisa's here. Brett's giving me a 7, a 4 from Lisa. Mike, what's in our chat?
We've got 5s, 8s, 9s, 6. I mean, relatively high numbers. We got a few 5s and 6s, but we got a lot of 8s and 9s. 7s in there.
Okay. All right. Some of you might be a little hard on yourself, maybe, Lisa. You're probably not giving yourself enough credit, but I think that your attitude is, hey, I've got ways to improve. So, all right, historical parallelism in role play. So imagine it's the 1600s, you can't read or write. How would this limit your opportunities? So if it's the 1600s and you can't read or write, is it limiting your opportunities? Very much so. Is that doing the same today in the technology? Yes. So next one, who here has won a client, saved time, or closed a transaction because of technology or the use of social media ads or AI-driven marketing? So any kind of technology. All of us? Like I'm probably not one of us hasn't. So then look how it put together this 5-page discussion. So we're kind of doing two things here. We're not only having a discussion about the use of technology, but we used AI and technology to generate the discussion. Isn't that crazy? Right? So here we are. I'm asking. So then so you want a 1-page handout? I said, I'd love a 1-page handout. So it freaking gave me a handout. And then it would even say, forget the short-term rental bookings down here. That was Will the broker got involved and needed a different answer. But I asked it things like, give me involvement questions. Can you guys still see me on my video or no? Like my hands? Okay. So I asked it, give me a handout. It could give me a PowerPoint. It could give me involvement questions. Let's say I wanted some more statistical data to back up this claim. Right? I could ask it for that. Now, that's an example, and we use the discussion today. Now, let's pit Mike. Am I losing? I know this is kind of a launching off point, but anything else on this issue before we get into like working with a buyer and maybe some practical, what can we do with this tool today to help us say with a buyer? Is there anything else before we leave and change focuses or the chapter here that I'm missing? I'm going to stop sharing. Mike, are we on track? Is that
no? I think I think one of the things that as we go through this stuff today, I think one of the things that you demonstrated really well there is that one of the things that makes AI great is that you're not going to put in one question and get out the answer that you want. More than likely, you're going to put in one question, and you should think of building your way to the things that you want. And so Will's question started out was really detailed, but you did notice that in combination with Will's brain and AI, he got to a place that was much more detailed and effective for the things that he wanted to do. And so that's, just remember, when you're creating these things and you're seeking information, don't limit yourself to a single question. Think of like, well, I'm going to work through this problem for 4 or 5 minutes is all it'll take, and build upon the questions that I'm asking and get to the place that I want to be.
Okay, I've got an idea for an exercise for all of us. I'm assuming everyone has ChatGPT open. Everybody nod yes for on video. Cherry, can you open it or no? Not yet? Okay, take notes. Take notes.
I am taking notes. I'm going to meet with Mike.
Okay, awesome. Okay, everybody ready for the? So how about this? Why don't we ask ChatGPT, how can I best use AI and ChatGPT when I'm working with a buyer? Now, this is a very general, frankly, a not a great question, but let's build on it. Okay, go ahead and type that in. How might I use ChatGPT or AI in, I can't help myself. I'm going to ask a better question. In presenting my services to a buyer as a real estate agent. See, that's a much better question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, whatever answer you get, we can build on that. Okay, did everyone put that in? Mike, do you want to drive and you drive some of these questions and see how we build on it using, because Mike is so, you've got an in-house expert in Mike and Joe on the call today. Mike, do you want to take over the share screen?
Yeah, I'll let me share my screen here. So this is just my version, by the way, of, hold on, do you guys see this? Because I feel like you don't.
No,
are you seeing a PDF?
No, you haven't shared.
So look at
my Buyer presentation AI handbook.
Yeah.
Oh wait, okay, on my bad. Yep, you got it.
I saw it.
Yep, we're there.
It's gone now, but
I know. Okay, it should be back. Is it back?
Wait. Oh gosh. Sorry, I had you shrunk. Yeah, there you are. Buyer presentation AI handbook.
Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing my usual little highlight of the document. It's weird. So when I did this, I did kind of a very similar thing that you all are doing here. One of the things that I think is really important too is that when you're asking the questions, your limitations of using this technology is you. And I know that sounds obvious, but AI can solve that problem. You can always say, how can I improve upon this? Or what am I missing? Or how should I create this? So when I created this, you'll notice that my first iteration of this buyer presentation AI playbook was very, well, it wasn't nearly as good as this. And so as I kind of stepped up and asked more questions to the chat, it gave me better answers. And so remember, this is something that took me 6 minutes. So could I make this significantly better? Yeah, you bet. One of the direction I took here was, what should I present and why is that important to the client? Okay. So it gave me this: discovery and consultation, using the coaching manual buyer section. By the way, this says prompt, right? So this is what you would ask. Use the coaching manual buyer section to ask 5 discovery questions I should ask in a consultation and explain why each of them matter. So, we all have a list of questions that we, want to ask our buyers, like, why is this important to you? But this maybe can give you some better questions to ask, right? We can also put in there, explain the process. So if we want to explain the process, of course, we have our buyer's guide, and we can use that. But one of the things you can do is summarize the buyer's due diligence checklist in plain language for a first-time buyer, okay? That's a really great thing to do. We can create our own roadmap for this process, okay? And using the company's buyer's guide and some notes we've taken that we upload. Market data storytelling. Take the latest Utah housing data. And by the way, this will go get it for you if you tell it where to go. And give me some summary of this data. Have the multiple offer conversation. Create a role play where I explain multiple offer situations to a nervous buyer. This is actually a really great thing. And think about how complex this problem can be. And have AI do a walkthrough of this problem, bullet point by bullet point, in order to have, say, a first-time home buyer or someone who's buying a second home, really explain that process to them, okay? And so deal tracking, next steps. This is just something that can give you.
Hold on just one sec.
Yeah.
Let me just, because it keeps coming up. This was my track of learning this. You ask a good question, you get a good answer, better than you thought, but then you have to go back and massage what you've got. So just remember, one of the objectives of today is to get you to start asking AI questions to help you in your business, whatever that is. We particularly thought we would focus on buyers as an example today, and also use AI as an example of teaching a class, which is actually, so that's all we're doing today. Our objective is to have you get used to using it, massaging and using better questions, and building upon the good answers you're getting so the answer becomes great. So look, if I'm meeting with a certain personality that's very analytical and my buyer's analytical, I might ask AI to help me build a more analytical approach to a personality that's very data driven. Yeah. If I need to dumb it down because it's a first-time home buyer, I can ask it that as well. If I get a good answer, but it's not great, then ask AI to change it. In what way? This is where, Mike said the human brain is going, it's not aware of this issue. Well, then say, now use something like a visual to this. Or if you're looking to find something inside the coaching manual, then say, particularly use the coaching manual. You guys all follow me? You're going to take a good answer and make it great because you're going to keep pushing it to go where you need it to go. Right?
Yeah. So part of what we're going to transition to is when I created this PDF, what I wanted to do is give you some examples of prompts. And the prompts are really the questions. You're prompting AI to do something for you, right? So some examples of weak versus strong prompts. So something weak would be explain the home buying process. I mean, it'll do it, but something better would be create a 7-step buyer roadmap based on our company buyer guide that explains the home buying process in clear buyer-friendly terms. Okay. And even think about this. If you have a specific scenario, a better prompt might be the same thing, but then finish it with in Kaysville, Utah, in Cottonwood Heights, Utah, or someone looking for a condo in downtown Salt Lake City, right? You can add all the additional information that's available to you in order to create something like that.
Mike, can I chime in here on
Please
prompt engineering? So one of the craziest things about AI is that you can use it to teach you how to use AI, right? So one of the greatest things is that if we'll open with a new prompt saying, what are best way I can give a presentation as a real estate agent to a buyer, and Mike was showing you all these other things. One of the greatest sentences you can put at the end of any of your chat prompts. So this works on Grok. This works on any ChatGPT. This works on all the other ones that are out there. To end all your sentences with, ask me any question you need to provide the most detailed and relevant answer. So use that sentence. So to use the very specific prompt that Will gave us before, what are the 7 things I need to do as a real estate agent in a buyer's presentation for my clients? Ask me as many questions as needed in order to provide the most relevant and detailed response. And it will send you a series of questions. And you answer those questions. And as you answer those questions, it gets smarter and smarter and smarter. And then it will actually prompt you on how to best serve up your next prompt. So using just that little sentence at the end, ask me as many questions as needed to provide the most relevant and detailed response. That will help your learning curve on any version of AI, Anthropic, Chat, Grok, Gemini. It doesn't matter what you're using. Add that sentence at the end, and it has helped me tremendously.
I love it. One of the funny things is for all of you who've used AI, you might be chuckling that we're using PDFs to explain AI. It is a bit silly, but anyway, here we are. Some more examples. Let's go through some more examples of good versus bad prompts. A weak prompt would be, tell me about inspections. Something more specific will be, summarize the inspection steps from the buyer due diligence checklist in 3 bullet points that a first-time home buyer can easily understand. Another weak prompt, what do I say about multiple offers? Well, it'll give you something, but the better thing would be draft a 2-minute script explaining multiple offers to a nervous buyer using examples from our Huddle notes. Okay. And then the better one, if you're actually in a multiple offer situation, if it were me and I was a listing agent, I would upload all the competing offers and then say, help me summarize the differences between all these offers, right? That's something that's very powerful. That you could do on your own. It would take a significant amount of time compared to what this will do for you.
Mike, I'm sorry, can I jump in one more second?
Always.
Do not do that if you're using the free version of the product. So if you are using the free version of Chat and you are uploading personal documentation, that gets shared with the training levels on the next version of Chat GPT. So if you're going to use anything with anyone's proprietary information, including contract or whatever else, please make sure that you're using the paid version of Chat GPT or whatever AI assistant that you like. And that will keep those particular elements private and specific to your account versus sending perhaps some unnecessary information out into the ether. Don't want to be a buzzkill on that. Just that is a real thing, and the laws have not been written yet to be able to track down somebody that did that, but they are coming. So just make sure that if you're going to use any proprietary or personal information, that you're using the pay version of whatever AI assistant you're using.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe, how much are we talking?
Well, the base level one now I think is 19 a month or 14 a month, something like that for Chat. It's not expensive at all.
20. It's 20.
Okay, so we've got 20 a month at least is on the site right now. Okay,
Yeah.
good. No brainer, guys. It'll save you so much time. and
Yes.
you'll be so much better prepared.
Um,
Keep going, Mike. You got
well,
it. Hey, remind me. Remember, we're going to talk about just the last 10 minutes. Remember, I don't want to just remember, make sure that last 10 minutes of this segment that we talk about. Well, you remember. Just tell me to talk about that thing, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm going to jump here to the do's and don'ts. So there are definitely limitations to what we're talking about. Some of those limitations are that, and I'm going to do a demonstration of some of the things that I've used it for here in a second. So when you do these things, you have to get this information, but at the same time, you have to go back and verify this information. Okay. Don't wholly rely that it's 100% accurate, because it's not going to be. You have to ask for the sources that it gives you. It'll provide the links if you ask it to. So verify this information, but it will put out really great stuff, but you need to verify. So do request specific formats, bullet points, scripts, visuals. Use it for brainstorming. One of the things that it does really well is you say, I'm working on this project. What are some ideas? I currently have idea 1, 2, and 3. Give me 10 more ideas. And then that helps you dive deeper into the stuff that you may never have considered. Don't copy and paste AI outputs into contract or legal documents. I think that's really important. I mean, always review that. It's a really great starting point. It's an amazing starting point. It'll save you a ton of time to get to where it's at, but you shouldn't consider that to be your finished product.
Okay, hey, Mike, I got a really important question coming up here from the live audience.
Yeah.
And I was bringing this up that my wife is already using this. I just don't know the answer to this question. But guys, your buyer is looking at a property. My wife does this already. Take a picture of the bathroom. Load it to AI, asking it to give you 3 different potential remodels of this bathroom. It spits out a remodel picture. Then say, I'm not a fan of not granite countertops. You use
Formica.
Formica. I really want to go retro on this. Give me a Formica countertop. It will say, I don't want any, wood on the back, on the backdrop, or I do want a wood kind of look on the backdrop. Okay. So, or change the color, make it darker, make it lighter, whatever, right? Put a window there. It will do all of this in seconds. It will give you a picture of a potential remodel. Joe, here's the question. Do you have any idea what level of chat if we buy one that will allow us to upload pictures and get these kind of like designer like looks of rooms?
Yeah, so the pay for version, just the base level pay for version, will do all that for you. The current iteration is called ChatGPT 5, which integrates several of its previous products into one. The free version will also do things like that, but you're in what's called a delayed queue. So you can send like a photo and it'll say, I'll work on it. And it might take a lot longer. Or it might come back and say, this version doesn't allow for personal photos. There's some other things. So with the base level entry on any of these, we had an agent earlier talk about using Grok. If you're paying for Grok via X or any of those platforms, that'll do it for free, or it'll do it with your account. So any of the base level pay for accounts, you'll do that. And again, with the images, I'm trying to like make sure this isn't like overly technical, but your personal account allows you to control not only the behavior of your individual chat GPTs, but allows you to control the content that chat GPT shares with its mothership. So the pay for, especially if you got pictures of someone's home, things like that, you want to make sure you're using a paid for version of the account, right?
We've got Lisa here doing this now. Maybe some of you are looking at this. The personal account is 20, the business is 25. You just go business at 25 a month, or what do you do?
Business allows you to add some other folks in like a team sort of concept to some of your chats. I'm not sure most people need to do that. I mean, if the extra $5 a month is not it's not a thought, then you're going to get access to some faster servers basically on the business side. But Personal account, $20 is just fine. You'll be able to do more than you ever imagined just with that.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much for that. I think this you're going to get really used to that. Imagine showing a buyer what it could look like for them and how cool that would be and fun that would be to talk about, hey, I know you didn't particularly like the decor of this kitchen or you're thinking about a new kitchen. Well, I've got 3 different looks on a new kitchen or a new bathroom, a new master, a new closet, or I mean a lot of different things. You know, you didn't like the paint of a paint color. Where well, here's pictures with a different paint color. I think this would be very fun, you guys. You know, a kind of a fun feature of AI is use it for decor. Anyway,
Um, I'm gonna just show you a couple examples because we are gonna run out of time. So I'm gonna show you a couple examples of something you can easily do that can give you some insight. So here, I'm gonna share my screen again. And I'm gonna try to give you examples that are very relevant to our company, okay? And the first example is going to be, you know, an activity that we do all the time. Sorry, I'm organizing my screen here. We all, as real estate agents, are really should be pretty good with doing comparables now and pricing homes. But one of the things that I discovered, and I did some experimenting today, basically I took my own home and just did the populate search based on that on a MLS number. And I came back with, I think, 14 sold listings. And I printed the PDF of the 14 sold listings, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add that, just attach the file, okay? So you can see here, you can attach pictures and files and anything you want in there. And I'm just gonna ask, and remember, we talked about good versus bad prompts. I'm gonna start with the most basic prompt you can, and I'm just gonna give me some insight into these sold comparables I uploaded, okay? Let's see what happens. Now, whenever it reads a PDF document, it can take a minute, okay? The larger the document, it could take a really long time. And so we all have the skill of analyzing sold data. But one thing I realize is that this can give us different angles that are much more valuable than maybe we would have come up with on our own, or give us some better talking points. And it says, okay, I'll show you the output. I reviewed the sold comparables in your uploaded report, and here are some key insights. So it's analyzing every single one. So high-end comparables, resort-style backyard with heated saltwater pool. So it automatically is telling you maybe why that is selling at a much higher price point, mid-range, and it gives us all the mid-range and the key details in there. And then entry-level Syracuse comps, okay? And it goes through and gives you some idea on each one of those comparables. Market takeaways, price range in Syracuse, recent sales span 600 to 999,000, with most clustered between 650 and 800. Gives you price ranges. It tells you about the concessions. I think this one's really important. It just summarized all the concessions. Most deals included $5,000 to $12,000 in concessions, indicating negotiation room in the market. And then it'll give you speed of sales, which we do. We talk about the speed of sales and days on market all the time. This is a great summary. Updated and move-in ready homes like the 675 Harvest Point home went under contract in just 2 days, while dated and partially finished homes sat 60 to 100 plus days. And it'll give you overall insight. Buyers are paying premiums for updated kitchens, finished basements, solar panels, and private tools. The luxury tier listings require unique amenities like a pool, chef's kitchen, and extensive remodels. So that's insight that happened in 2 minutes that may have taken us a lot of work to come to on our own. Now, could we have come to these conclusions on our own? Yeah, we could have. But even just analyzing 14 sold comps to understand, the concessions in each single comp would have taken, some real work just on its own. Of course, we want to Of course, we want to go back and verify this information, but that's pretty valuable just on its own. And we're increasingly running out of time, so I'm going to do one more tool. So everybody here is familiar with Moxie Presents. If you're not, I think you should become familiar with Moxie Presents. So anyway, I did the same thing. I took my home, I put it in Moxie Presents, I created, and one of the negatives are I put in an MLS number that's over 5 years old. So the information it's going to output is going to be 5 years old, some of it. Okay, so it won't be super accurate. But here's what I did. This is the link to the actual presentation. Okay, I'm going to take that link and I want to know what's going on inside this link. Okay, and so I'm going to say, give me a summary of this listing presentation I'm about to do. What are some unique perspectives I can give my clients based on this information? Now, if I sat for a minute and really thought about it, I could come up with a better prompt, but we're in Huddle. Always be patient with this. You never know how long it's going to take. It could be super fast. It could be slow. It could be whatever. One of the great things I like now, this is a limited example, but as you do your research, notice this is a new feature you're not seeing. When it gives you data, oftentimes you see that it's highlighting. Sometimes it'll give you 2, 3, or 5 links in there, and you can actually see where it's pulling its information from. So pay attention to that. Here's a polished summary of your listing presentation for this address, including unique angles that you can make your client pitch truly stand out. Features, and it's telling me about my own, this is a summary of my own property purchase 5 years ago, which in 2020. So this is going to be outdated, but you might have something that's obviously more updated, but you're going to have to do your own comments on your own listing. But then here it gives you a summary of all the other data. And remember, all this data in Moxie, the reason I like it, it's all live. And so there's active listings there, there's sold listings there, there's everything you need to really give AI enough information to give you something unique. So pricing benchmarks, average price across sold comps, 747, average square foot, 191. And it gives you estimated value of subject based on the information it had. It gave me a 761 number. We all know we don't use averages, but it's another data point, right? It's not the data point, but it's a data point. Range of sold comps, the low end from 169 to 174, mid-range 180 to 204, and the high end are reaching up to 226. These comps indicate that similarly sized homes in your client's area are commanding significantly higher dollar per square foot than the subject did, which of course it sold 5 years ago. That's why it's happening, right? Unique perspective. Highlight the pricing opportunity. The home sold at $131 a square foot, well below the neighborhood average. Use this to argue for a confident listing price near $190 a square foot, translating into a potential listing price of $750,000 to $800,000. Emphasize rapid sales. The subject property sold in just 5 days. It did. This was pre-COVID, before they unleashed everybody. I got in there at a good time. Emphasize the value of greed and efficiency upgrades. Update finishes and move-in readiness. A strategic pricing narrative. Frame the property as the best value in the market. And it'll give you comparative visualizations. And it'll give you a quick summary of the things that you should focus on, particularly on this property. But remember, and before I hand the mic back over to Will, remember, that's just the first iteration. So if you don't have, based on what it just put out, if you don't have some questions or like, this doesn't seem accurate, ask it about those questions. So, one of the obvious questions are, the subject property sold 5 years ago. The condition is not the same. How should I address that to the seller? Okay. Maybe it's in rougher shape. Maybe they did some upgrades. Maybe they added a pool, right? And that information isn't in there. That's how you're building upon the things that you want. Okay. Now, I got 5 more minutes, and I'm going to hand it back over to you, Will. Suggested talking points, then versus now. Okay. Condition gap examples, how to position in and build trust. Okay. There's all sorts of things to build on here. So when you do it, the first output is likely not going to be the one that you run with. But as you ask it questions and push it to get to the places you want, you'll end up in a much better place. Now, the last example I'll give you is really like a nuts and bolts example of one of the things that makes AI really great. My example, though, is, and we did this in real time because we had the question, and Felicia actually mentioned it in the chat. And I'm finding this to be really great. So remember, anything that's in a PDF or even a screenshot or a JPEG that has text information, AI can extract it and analyze it. So if your client has a question about, are ADUs allowed? Can I do short-term rentals? And you're talking about city code or zoning ordinances. One of the features that I appreciate the most is its ability to analyze these documents really, really fast. So one of the things that I did was I downloaded the Syracuse City Code because we're focusing on my property to ask it questions. Well, as it turns out, the PDF of the Syracuse City Code is only 880 pages long, which is too big. That's a massive document. So we're going to go ahead and type in Google Syracuse City Municipal Code. And we're going to look at it. Well, there it is, right? It's online, as you might suspect. There's the Syracuse City Municipal Code. We're going to copy that link and we're going to paste it in there. Can I build an ADU on this property? If so, what steps do I need to take and what part of the code do I reference so my clients can see? Okay, that's the question we ask, because yes, it makes mistakes and this isn't our information. We're the conduit. And so in order to become the conduit, you also have to provide the information back to them. And just by saying, well, AI gave it to me, that's not a real answer. AI gave me the ability to show you where the information is. But the bottom line is you can come back and say, yes, Syracuse Cities allows one accessory dwelling unit per single family residential lot. And then it will give you the details of that based on the link that we provided, okay? And so if you say, where is that? Well, what to reference for clients, Syracuse Municipal Code 10.30.020. Look, that's a copy and paste to your client's question, can I build an ADU? That used to take a lot of research.
Yep.
And that is a really great use of your time to just throw those kind of documents in there and get some kind of summary back. So anyway, that's my brief examples. Will, back over to you.
I'm blown away. Are you guys just absolutely, can you believe what this can do? It's unbelievable. If you're not at that level yet, then you haven't really driven it enough yet. But I love that example of posting that there. Now, from a legal standpoint, Mike, you and I talked about this. There's disclaimers. If I'm going to give something someone, say, well, this is found on, right? We never want to be the person who will, Will Cooper said I could build an ADU on this property. No, we got it from the Syracuse website that this is what we're saying that Syracuse says you can do, right? Okay, so just from the legal standpoint. All right, closing thoughts on this. So I want you to think about the people you trust the most, like friends, mentors, past clients, things like that. Like, why do you trust them? It's usually because we're authentic. Okay, so they say what they mean. We mean what they say. The person who's talking to you is real. Okay. Now imagine those same people suddenly become very scripted and robotic. How would that affect your trust? Translation. Yeah, this is a challenge, right? Like who's talking to me right now, right? So this is a challenge we face with real estate today, with AI coming on. I just want to warn everyone. Remember, clients know technology exists, but they're hiring us as human authenticity. Maybe that's going to be a new thing that we talk about, Joe. That's going to be a very big part of our new lingo, human authenticity. that it wasn't just a copy and paste something from AI. Like, I want to know what Mike thinks. I want to know what Will thinks. I want to know what Lisa thinks. Like, do you agree with this? Right? So remember that we never wanted to be scripted ever, did we? Like, I never taught anyone to memorize the script. I said, I want you to memorize the structure and then use it as a structure only. I'd rather you be imperfect and authentic than perfect and scripted and not authentic, right? And robotic, okay? So there's this human factor. Hey, Joe, how many times have we said you post something on social media, make a comment about it, right? What do you think? So closing thought: AI is a powerful tool, but it can never replace your authenticity. In the end, clients don't hire you for perfect, polished scripts. They hire you because they feel that you care about them, their story, their goals, their future. Yes, I did ask AI to help me with that, but I told it what is the truth. And I said, use my coaching manual, which I've already written. So there's authenticity and AI combined for a very important message. Be imperfect and human and authentic is way better than being perfect and scripted and using AI, right? I remember Steve Jobs, when he first started selling Apple computers, he used, if you guys remember this great story, you can find it on YouTube. But there's a video of him presenting what even a personal computer even is. In a way, there's a lot of parallelism to that. Maybe that will be my next ask of AI, is parallel AI coming on the scene to human beings to the first personal computer. Does anyone remember what he compared it to and what he used? So he said here, a personal computer is like, does anyone remember that? Okay, so what he did is he said, let's use caloric burn and where do humans go? Like, if you went so far, who goes the furthest? Well, you might be not surprised to hear that a condor uses the least amount of calories to go the furthest distance. Sound right? Like it's a bird? Okay. But guess what? If you give human a bicycle, our caloric burn per distance is lower than any other species on planet Earth. Interesting. Bicycle made us more efficient. Computer, more efficient. Same parallelism today. I could ask AI to even build a discussion around this with more data points. Jump into this, play around with it. It's fun. Think about all the uses that are going to come out from this. And on top of all of that, remember, we're in a relationship business, aren't we? I mean, it's all relationship. So use AI and these tools to build relationships. I certainly don't minimize them. Stay authentic and real, even if it means to be imperfect. Okay. That was my warning. I think Mark O'Brien would probably even double down on anytime you give someone something that it has a disclaimer of where the information came from and did not come from you. Okay. So we'll double down on that one more time. Any other closing thoughts on this? We do have just a couple of minutes, but any other closing thoughts? That's Mike, anything? Joe? Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I would just say that, sorry, shooting a fly away. There's so many subjects that we didn't cover that AI is amazing at. And one of those subjects is marketing. And everybody's like, well, yeah, it'll give us a property description. I mean, that is just the bare bones scratching the surface of what it'll do. I mean, it's sort of like, yeah, my car will get me down the road. I mean, it's like, of course, that's what a car's supposed to do. It can give you a lot more than that. And so one of the things that I did too, that I didn't quite get to is the same link from Moxie, right? I put the same link in Moxie in there and I go, hey, listen, I want 10 ideas for social media posts based on this link.
Nice.
And it gave me ideas for social media posts that are so much better. I mean, some of us are much better at social media than I am, that are way better than I would have come up with on my own. And it was just the idea. It didn't even create it yet. It was just like, here's 10 ideas. Neighborhood lifestyle posts, price range posts, buyer and seller education posts, video reels, polling, post engagement, or recent sold comps, which we go, well, yeah, we do those, but it's presenting these in really great ways. And you just get to go, oh, well, this one makes the most sense for me. Let's dive into this subject. The other thing that I think it's amazing at is organization, right? So let's say you go, hey, and we've talked about this in Huddle in the past. So we talked about just the logistics of managing our transaction, right? And what that looks like and how we stay organized. And AI is amazing at that. It can, not only can it help you create it, it'll help keep you on track. And you can get in the weeds and you go, okay, I've completed this part, and it'll just reprint where you're at and update that list to where you need it to be. You don't even have to ask it to. So there's so many things it can do. And again, the thing I'll sign off with is its limitation is really you. Like what you put in is what it'll get out. So it does make great assumptions about what you might want to do next, but your creativity will create the things that are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Your life easier. Go, Joe.
Backpacking onto what Mike said. Two things. The first time you start playing with AI, you go, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is so fun," and then the fear starts to climb in. The first thing you think is if I can go remodel a bathroom for a client, why can't the client just go remodel the bathroom without me? And then why do they need me? And then you go down that little path. Let's just start by saying that if you don't know what to ask AI will not provide you the relevant answer, right? So the human element here is the paramount, it is the pinnacle, it is the linchpin that AI depends on, is you as a person and your ability to interpret those results. And so you've heard that multiple times throughout this particular Zoom meeting, but AI will not replace an individual because of your ability to say, I need, like Mike saying, I need to go ask the Syracuse city website and then go make sure that ADU is in there. Those types of steps are because Mike has knowledge, domain knowledge, that he's using AI to amplify his reach, to amplify his knowledge. AI does not exist with just knowledge. It's like my librarian in elementary school used to walk us into the library and say, everything you ever wanted to know about the world is in here, but you have to walk in and open the book. So very similar, right? You have to be able to go in and start looking with it and playing with it and get familiar with it. The second thing that you need to know is that AI has an incentive. That incentive is to keep you using AI, which means, as Mike said just a few minutes ago, it will sometimes give you answers just to keep you playing with AI. The answers don't need to necessarily be factually correct, or even in some cases, they're literally like a cliffhanger, like the old TV shows, and you have an end of a season, they give you a cliffhanger, so you kept coming back to watch. AI is going to do the same thing for you. It's going to ask you to, if you finish something, it'll say, "Do you want me to make that into a PDF? Do you want me to put a footer on there? Do you want me to do this?" The incentive is to keep you engaged with it. So two things to keep in mind with that. Number one, make sure that you're casting enough doubt on those responses that make you look through in detail to see what it is that it's giving you, so that you can take what is good and you can leave what is bad. And the second thing is, don't become totally attached to AI and be afraid to leave it. It will be there whenever you go back. It'll be okay. You can walk away. So but both those things are great. We are scratching the literal surface. This is the shallowest depth we could possibly do for this kind of thing. There's much more coming. As a brokerage, we are working on some significant tools that are AI based that you'll begin to see here in the coming short period of time. But significant effort is going on behind the scenes. So even if you're like, this just looks like it's too much for me, we're bringing more tools that allow you to play with them in a little bit more of a sort of a preset bumpers on the bowling lane, if you will. But you really need to get in and start using this, like you really do, and ask it any question from, "I have leftover chicken, asparagus, and frozen peas. What can I make for dinner?" And then jump all the way ahead to, "I am bored. I'm looking for an action adventure book."
Yeah.
Whatever it happens to be, just go for it like that. And
One of our agents texted me and said, "You know what? I'm going to use this one. How do I break up with this girlfriend?" No, I'm not saying who it was, okay? But that's a text I got. But we also used it to help name our band, by the way. So we needed to say, like, "Hey, we play a lot of older songs. We're bringing back like history, and it's fun and something like almost like a throwback." And it came out with, "Well, why don't you play back?" And then we're like, "What?" We'll take that. Anyway, hey guys, we got to end this. Thank you so much for all you guys do, and let's keep building those relationships. We can be more effective and efficient with technology. We won't be illiterate, but we'll stay authentic as well, right? Okay. Have a great, wonderful day. Mike, thank you. Joe, thank you. Appreciate it. Give them a hand, everybody. Or super